Well, Sean Lennon here with Kirby Alexander here on the PWE Report. Finally get him back on, and he is Kirby the Voice Alexander. If you don't know him, he is the current announcer for Freelance Wrestling, among other wrestling promotions, but mostly doing just freelance for now. And we've had him and a few other promotions pop up as well, so we'll get to that as well. But, he makes a surprise appearance. But we appreciate you, Kirby, being back on the show. We're talking about no cuts, no glory. This is a benefit show for you. And I'm sure you didn't imagine that there would be a second benefit show happening. From what happened last year, you had a tumultuous year last year, of course. People didn't know with your heart transplant and everything that, thankfully it went well. But now you are, faced with some adversity now. And so we'll give you a chance to tell us about that. And this event in Freelance Wrestling, no cuts, no glory. So welcome on PWE Report.
Glad to be here. Thanks everybody for tuning in and listening. Most of you probably know about my heart. We talked about that here on PWE before. I got a new heart about 16 months ago now, and it's doing absolutely fantastic. So skip ahead from me getting it 9 months, 8.5 months after I got the new heart. My house nearly burnt down, and I was trapped in the house. I was the only one home. Luckily, I was able to check the house right away and no one else was home, but I could not get downstairs, not because of physical ability. There was no fire in front of me, but there was a wall of heat in front of me that I couldn't go down. I had to go down 6 stairs to get out, and I couldn't do it. So I had to be rescued from my son's room, who has a big bay window that's front facing out to the street. I would say that firefighters and everybody got there within 3 minutes and got me down to the ground safely. I got scratched up pretty bad on the ladder, but nothing else was wrong, and it didn't hurt my heart at all, like nothing like that.
Right.
But it was a tragic experience. We lost 2 dogs to smoke inhalation, and then my wife and I and my 2 children lost 98% of everything we've owned. I've been a collector all my life, a lot of wrestling stuff because I've been in the business, lots and lots of comic book stuff, especially original art, mostly drawn by people that are probably deceased now, autographs from movies and TV and music memorabilia. Like I really, really collected, and all of that is gone. And for me, 90% of that stuff was one of a kind. And so it cannot be replaced, and it can't really even be priced. And I know what people say, stuff is stuff, and it is, but my stuff was cooler than your stuff. So it's a little harder, and I mean that in a total jesting way, but it is still something you lament. It's not just something you go, oh well, stuff is stuff.
Right.
You can still grieve. It's just you shouldn't linger on it too long, because it was stuff. It wasn't your family. That's the important thing. But there is still a grieving process that goes with that to a certain extent, especially when you're like, oh, I want to grab this game. Oh, I don't have that game anymore. Or when other people bring up like, oh, you have that, don't you? And they're like, oh yeah. So stuff like that, but no, we're doing really, really well. We're a closer family now than we were, and not that we weren't, but we're even closer than we were pre-fire, and everyone's just doing phenomenal, just recovering. The only one who really had to deal with any trauma was me, because I was the one trapped in the house. So I got like a month or 2 of trauma specific therapy, and I'm all good. I was able to figure out how to face and deal with what I went through. But so now here we are. And it's been about 7 months. The house is being rebuilt. We've relocated. We're living in a rental now for about the past 7 months. And the house is being rebuilt for about a month now. I've been in it a couple times. And it's a slow process, but it's happening. So we know it's there, and that's great. So that takes us up to what we're kind of really here to talk about tonight, which
Right.
is Freelance's second annual, so to speak, benefit show for me. Hopefully we don't have to do a third annual benefit show. James kind of joked, I'm talking about James Russo, who is the
Yes.
booker for Freelance Wrestling, because not everyone may know. And he joked like, there better not be a third benefit show. If there has to be, it better be a memorial show. And because he said, because I'm going to kill you. But, it's the fact that Freelance Wrestling did a benefit show in the first place was absolutely phenomenal. And it pulled in a good amount of money for us at a time when we really needed it, but it also it did stuff for me. The fact that many people cared about my heart condition. And it wasn't just Freelance put on a benefit show, but every other promoter I know donated or helped in some way. Workers I know from other companies helped in some way. Fans who have just watched me on a stream, they've seen this or that or whatever, IWTV, and they're like, hey, I want to help this guy too. And not only did they help him monetarily, I had fans reaching out just to talk to me. I had a couple different fans who I knew relatively well come up in the hospital and hang out with me. And that whole community, got me through that. So it was phenomenal that all of that happened, that outpouring from the wrestling community. So now James and everyone else, IWA or IWA Mid-South, I haven't worked for IWA Mid-South in 15 years. I don't know why that was even on my tongue for a second. That's really funny. Hi, Ian. Freelance has decided to do a second show, and that's going to be this weekend, August 23rd, at Logan Square Auditorium. 7:00 bell time, maybe 8:00 bell time. I'm not positive. Sean,
I think it's 8:00.
8:00 bell time. See, I knew you would know. And yeah, we're going to talk about that tonight. But just the fact again that they were willing to do another benefit show just means a lot. It really means a lot, because we're living in a rental, and it's a nice rental, but there's still just, when the fire first hit, you now have 4 people who own one pair of pants and one shirt. That's all we own. So, and they're in school, and my wife is working, and I'm about to be doing stuff because I'm at the point where I'm recovering really well. And so we had to go shop for 1 week. We figured, let's get 7 days of clothing, because then that's plenty of time to wash and everything. But now you're buying 7 outfits for 4 people, so that's 28 outfits, and that's tops and bottoms and maybe shoes to go with it. Like, you're doing that in almost like one shopping spree, because we needed it. And that was insane. And that was, my wife did that because I was still in the hospital from the fire, because they just had to make sure I was okay. But she went and did a shopping spree across multiple stores to get at least 28 outfits across 4 different people. And so and we'll get reimbursed, but the reimbursement process isn't the fastest process in the world. And so what Freelance is doing, and what you fans will be doing by coming to this show, will really help us once again. And it's not lost on us. If we're the kind of people, like, even now we're still being charitable. Like, we're still helping others when we have not much, and because that's who we are. And if that wasn't who we were, if we hadn't helped so many communities in the past, this would not have happened for us. And that's the one thing I told my children. I'm like, if there's one takeaway from the fire and the heart, is that if mom and dad weren't good people,
Mm-hmm.
this would not happen. People wouldn't be helping us like this. We've helped people for 40 years, never, ever expecting anything in return. And that's when you get it. When you do it selflessly and people know it. Danny had students that she taught 20 years ago and hadn't seen in 20 years somehow hear about it and going on the GoFundMe. Everyone trying to bring over meals for us. It was just absolutely fantastic.
Right, that, for sure. And I'm sure it's just going to take a while to get back to things back to normal for you as well.
Absolutely. I'm starting a new career. You know about that as well. I'm becoming a barber, which ties in to the fact that the benefit show is called No Cuts, No Glory.
Yes.
Isaiah Velasquez came up with that title for the show. And the previous benefit show and this benefit show, they don't tell me anything. They told me they're having a benefit show. So I didn't know the name until you guys knew the name. I didn't know what the first match was until you guys knew what the first match was. Like, right. I really am in the dark. Right now, 6 of 8 matches have been announced. I have no idea what the other 2 matches are.
I think they just announced one extra one.
Did they go to 7?
GPA versus Hunk, Kassady.
Yes, that's number 6.
Oh, that's numbers. Okay.
Yeah, that took us to 6 of 8.
Okay. Actually, I see that as 7.
Well, yeah, let's go through. When we go through them, we'll see.
Definitely, yeah.
Maybe
for
there
sure,
is.
Man.
So yeah, it's exciting for me to see what's going to happen. The last show, Mustafa Ali showed up, and I assume a lot of people know, but benefit shows are not paid shows. You work benefit shows for free because you care about the guy or whoever it is that you're trying to help. Right. Mustafa Ali, not in the WWE anymore, but is still a very desired name to have on shows and gets paid well to be on shows, and decided to not take that pay and show up for me and work in the main event and cut a promo about me at the end. And dude, it's again, it wasn't just the money, it was just all the healing, it was all the love. And now we're about to go through it again this Saturday.
Definitely. And I appreciate you being on PWE Report and telling your story, man. It's really amazing what you've been able to share and how far you've come. The matches are really good, and I would say that you look at Koda, Hernandez, and CHICO Freelance Legacy Championship, and that really sticks out there. I mean, if you've seen CHICO kind of get his title shot, it came at the last Freelance show at the Emporium show, and CHICO won the Scramble match at the I think it was like a battle over the top battle royal. Yeah. So, what do you think of CHICO now? I know you've known him for a long time, and getting to see him be the main event.
I have known CHICO for a good amount of time. There's definitely people I've known longer, but I would put him somewhere in the 10-year mark, probably, of my 18 years, I think, in the business now. And CHICO is one of those guys that every time you see him, he's a little bit better. And he continues to work on his craft and work for different companies and learn different styles. And, he's kind of always been at just kind of one level. And now he's starting to build up out of that level and get into title pictures and main events and such. And I'm very happy for him. He's a great dude. And, but he's going to have a hell of a match having to go up against the insanely on fire right now Koda Hernandez.
Yes, I know. And him and Koda, this is going to be a fun match. We saw them square off against each other at the end of the last show. And so what are your thoughts of Koda Hernandez heading into this championship match and how he's been as a champion so far?
Yes, this championship run and everything he did leading up to it has been awesome. Like he just keeps elevating and elevating and elevating, and they bring in like really cool people for him to work. He worked Mustafa Ali maybe in the last 2 months, I think. Ali cut a promo at the end, and he was like, basically, is like, you need to step it up even more because you need to be like the next Chicago guy. Like you actually need to be carrying this city on your shoulders. And Koda's the guy to do it. I really do believe. I am so impressed with him, and he's such a good dude. I'm going to say that probably about a lot of people today because there are it's mostly great people in the business right now, you know, and pardon me, I get a dry throat. But yeah, there we go. Koda's just a really good dude. You know, he's very humble. He takes, he appreciates the praise, but he appreciates criticism just as much. And he'll find me and be like, "How was the match?" And like, really want to know, not just like, "Oh, how was what did you think of my match?" And no, it's like, "What did you think of the match?" Like, he needs to know everything that I felt about it. And that's the only way you get better. You build off of everything, and you take advice from people. And he's just killer at doing that. And the thing I'm thinking about, though, because you mentioned it probably being a fun match, and I think it'll be a fun match, but Koda has just come out of working some really crazy matches with Sabin Gage. And Koda has that violence in him. He has that gang mentality, that he's escaped from, but he still has that in him. And I don't know if he's, I don't think he's going to come and try and have a fun match with CHICO. And I like that because CHICO also has a mean streak. It's just harder to bring out. And I think Koda is going to bring that out from him this Saturday. So I'm hoping for something that might start a little nice and turn out kind of nasty.
Yeah, that's safe to bet. That's a safe bet there. And for CHICO, just coming from where he was like a year ago, it's awesome. We had to deal with Frank the Clown, and obviously with that, the chicanery between Frank the Clown, Trevor Outlaw, and so he came out on top from all that.
Cursing or no cursing?
You can curse.
Fuck Frank the Clown. That's it. That's the whole story.
What about Trevor?
Well, him too.
I know. I think it gave you great pleasure one time. You had Trevor in the ring. You got to say something to him. Yeah, it was part of your announcement. I forget what it was.
It was more Frank. I finally was able to give Frank his comeuppance after about 2 years of dealing with him in ego, and there's nobody in this business right now in where I work, so in the Chicago scene for me, that I love to hate more than Trevor and Frank.
I know, and you're not alone.
And you know what? That's a beautiful thing because that's wrestling.
Yes, definitely.
You know what? They're making me emotional in some way, shape, or form. Right. They're making me invested in some way, shape, or form. And that's money.
When you look at some of the other matches, we've got GPA versus Hunk Kassady. That's 2 veterans going at it.
So that really excited me. I think that got announced yesterday or maybe the day before. And, I immediately shared it and said, I'm really excited for this match. I was excited for all the matches, but this took it to a different level for me. And that might not be for everyone. Everyone might not look at this match and go, "Oh, man." But for me, GPA has been out, I think, almost a year with an injury and didn't even stayed at home, didn't go to shows with Laynie, didn't come and hang out. He just disappeared for a year because he was hurt. And so I didn't even get to see him. He wasn't on the last benefit show. I haven't seen the dude in over a year. And, he's again a guy I love to hate, and but he's fantastic in the ring. And Hunk Kassady is a guy who is gotten a couple little like pre-match show shots and stuff at Freelance, and then has been working behind the scenes a lot at Freelance, and then training at Freelance Academy. And he's been gone for a while. He's been gone for a couple of years from our ring. And so for me, that's meaningful for them both to be back at kind of the same time. I know GPA did a multi-person match last month, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But for a singles match now, and Hunk's first single match in a long time, yeah, I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm here for it, and I'm hoping both of them get to like bring themselves back into the spotlight.
Yeah, Hunk is a big guy. Like he's very his size and demeanor and his size and stature are very intimidating. So
he was one of those guys when he first started doing pre-show matches and stuff for us. The crowd loved him. He was immediately over. And if we want to go into another match, the other person who's doing that right now, who was instantly over and is crazy over right now, Trent Wrigley.
Yes, definitely. I agree.
And, yeah, the crowd loves him, and he's putting in good work, and he has a match on the show as well.
Yes.
And you could probably enlighten us to that.
Well, yeah, he's facing Trevor Outlaw, his nemesis, his rival, and the guy who took him out. I mean, you had to be there, and you had to announce that Trent Wrigley is no longer a match, and instead it's Trevor. I mean, how did that feel for you to have to say that, Trevor, right in your face and everything?
Yeah, you know what? It's never fun, to deal with Trevor and Frank. But I'm a professional. I have to do what I have to do. Right. And, I can like, not like, all I want, angry, whatever it is. And at the end of the day, and, within a minute or 30 seconds, I have a job to do. And, I'm going to always do it to the best of my professional nature. But you'll still possibly hear a little bit of contempt in my voice if I'm not feeling it. You can still hear a little bit, for sure.
Sure. Yes, and so obviously this rivalry has been brewing since that happened a couple months ago, and they're finally going to go at it one-on-one where it happened originally at the Logan Square Auditorium. So I'm excited to see these two square off. And what's your feeling about this?
My feeling is, as much of a competitor that Trevor is, and I will give him that, Trent needs to worry about Frank.
Yeah.
Frank is a game changer. And again, I'll give him that. Hate the guy, but he's a game changer for Trent. He was a game changer for Ego. Man, all the cliches, right? Eyes in the back of your head, stuff like that. Like Trent is he's fighting two guys for all imagining of what's actually really happening.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one, but I think Trent will come out on top and he will prevail against Trevor Outlaw. He's younger and he's, a little younger. I'm not saying like, it's like, a discrepancy of like a decade or so. I'm just saying he's fresher. You know what I mean? He's kind of like a different vibe to him, a fresher vibe than Trevor Outlaw,
I think he's just less than a year out of the academy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think he was out of the academy at the last benefit show, or if he was, it was barely. So yeah, he's a younger dude. He's a fresh guy to wrestling still, and he needs this win. And maybe he doesn't need this win, but if he gets this win, that will be huge for him. He's already at a level where people just love him. And that's just a lot about who he is.
Yes.
But now, if he pulls this off, it'll be about what he can do. And that will bring, the faith and the love that people have for him to such a higher level.
Definitely. We know Trevor is in search for that Red Star medallion so he can get an opportunity at the Freelance Championship. So he needs one more win in a scramble.
Yep.
I believe, yeah.
And yes, yeah, we have the red medallion championship, or there's a red star medallion. If you win a scramble, you get the red star medallion. If you get 3 of those in a row, is that right?
I believe 3 in a row. Yeah.
Or 3, yeah. Then you get it's basically a money in the bank. You get to pick your poison, pick your champion, or pick any shot. I don't think it even necessarily has to be a title shot. But yeah. So Trevor is very, very close to that. He's on his way, and yeah, we'll see what happens. He's not in the scramble this month.
No. You've got the Freelance Tag Team Championships, triple threat match. And how did it feel to announce that Bang and Matthews are finally the Freelance champions again after what transpired?
I've watched them since the beginning now. And, 2 skinny little kids, because that's what they were, man. They weren't wrestlers. They were just skinny little kids. And then they just worked on their craft. And I'm sure everybody knows the term, 40 milers. And if not, I'll explain. Wrestlers who don't try and work outside of their area are often called 40 milers. They'll work within a 40-mile radius of where they live, but they won't try and go out any farther than that. And as soon as Bang and Matthews started to get popular, they started taking those bookings. They were not 40 milers, man. They were going all over the place. And now they continue to, GCW will bring them into different towns. And, I'm pretty sure they probably worked in Minnesota and probably worked in Iowa. So they definitely get around, and I'm very happy for them. I love watching them. People have their best matches against them, like you know what I mean. They elevate people as well. You'll have a tag team. They'll come in and it'll be like, okay, yeah, I've heard of these guys. They're kind of cool, and then they'll have a match with Bang and Matthews, and you're like, oh, okay. Now I saw what these guys could do, because they had to face Bang and Matthews, and they elevate people. They make people look good, and sometimes that takes a long time for another tag team. They may have all this potential, but if they're not getting the right matches to really show it, and I feel like I've seen multiple tag teams start to really hit their stride after having a Bang and Matthews match.
Yeah, like the new guys.
Yes, that's who I was thinking of in my head the entire time.
Yes, exactly. So you think they're going to come out on top? They've got the conduits of Corbin's knowledge. I'm not going to say the acronym because that's kind of weird. And white meat.
Yes. It's you add more than what's supposed to be there, and it changes the game. There's 3 tag teams in there, not 2, and you already got 4 guys. Now you've got 6 guys, and it's a different game plan. You have to come at that match in a very different way. You might not be involved in the pinfall whatsoever. Like you can just get taken out of the decision of the match.
Right.
And so you have to constantly try to be in the match. But if you're trying to be in the match, you're also getting more tired, more beat up, so that you want to actually rest in the match. But if you rest too long and get taken out, then you're not there to make the save. So it's it really changes the psychology of the match. And I'm very excited to see how these 3 teams handle that and what they bring to it. How are they going to face that challenge?
For sure. I'm a big fan of white meat as well. I think they're really fantastic with the way they work together. Different kind of a character, the way
and 2 different styles.
Yeah, 2 different styles. Yeah.
They're not polar opposites. It's not like a brawler and a high flyer, but they do have 2 different work styles, and I like that about them, and 2 different personalities, and I like that about them.
Same here. Same here. I wish them the best of luck. And you've got another match with Sabin, Gage, and Laynie Luck. And Laynie's coming out one-on-one. What's up?
I think that's the one I don't know about.
Yeah, that one got announced a little about like a couple weeks ago, a week or two ago.
I might have missed that one in my head, possibly.
Yeah. I think it was like the third one announced.
Okay, so Sabin, Gage, Jesus, coming off of a killer set of matches with Koda Hernandez, bringing Koda Hernandez's dad into the ring and, beating him mercilessly with a chair, and, just blood everywhere from those two for like months in a row. And is Sabin healed from all that? Is he ready to do something else? And again, I think he has to come out of that the same way I was describing Koda, more violent, more still angry, right? He came out more on the losing end of that feud. So he's got to be even angrier. Now he's got to prove himself again. And now he has to face Laynie Luck. And, it's like, now he's got to kind of start over, if he's going to get back to in the run for a championship or not. And and then you have Laynie, who's very interesting now that the fans are starting to be fond of her.
Yeah.
And that hasn't been the case in a long time. And you can tell that she's not even quite sure what to do with that yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, will she go full crowd favorite? Will that throw off her game? The fact that people are cheering for her and not booing. Because all of that matters. If you guys don't think it matters, it does. While you're in there, everything that's happening around you matters. So it'll be interesting to see how that match goes.
Yeah, I think she's going to feed off the crowd and use it to her advantage for Sabin. Sabin's tough, though. He's one of those guys that can, come at all angles of you,
Yeah, he's a great high flyer. He can take a beating. We saw that with Koda.
Yeah. He
can give a beating. We saw that with Koda. He's definitely becoming a multi-tool wrestler. He has that lucha libre style, but he doesn't rely on it solely. And that's good. It's great to have that in your back pocket, but you have to be able to switch when you need to switch. If someone's going toe to toe with you, your lucha libre style may not be a great benefit to you right in that moment, but he can go toe to toe with you as well.
Yeah. Yes, he can strike and he can mix it up when it needs to. And we've got Alfonso Gonzalez and Kevin Koo. And we rarely see Kevin Koo do like single matches. Usually he's with his tag team partner. I believe they're both healthy, right? Is his tag partner healthy now, or?
I believe they are. But the funny thing is, I think in Freelance, Kevin's probably done more single matches than he's done tag matches, just in Freelance alone. In this area, we see them as tag teams all the time, right? In Black Label Pro and everywhere else, they're a tag team. But I know that I've worked with Kevin Koo as a singles wrestler in Freelance, like at Bottom Lounge and other places. So it's like, he's definitely done that, and he doesn't do it as much. Like you said, he doesn't do it as much, but I know I've seen it, more than once. And, man, I talk about the intensity of Koda, and I talk about the intensity of Sabin, and then there's Kevin. And man, I don't want to be in the ring with him. I mean, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Hell of a striker, great submission guy. His partner's a better submission guy, but he's still a hell of a submission guy. And but incredible striker, and strong style. Just a mean son of a bitch that can just he can hurt people. And that's going to be a real obstacle to overcome. And I don't know that Alfonso has faced many of this style of person, of this level of anger and violence. And it's not to say that he hasn't had some tough matches and he hasn't gone the distance and, gotten beat up and beat people up. I'm not saying that, but Kevin Koo is going to be a very, very different match for him to step up to. I think he's going to. I think he's going to do very, very, very well. But man, that's a hell of a match to get handed to you.
Team Alfonso better be training and getting prepared, whatever they're trying to do over there. Team Alfonso, they have to step it up.
As the sole member of Team Alfonso.
Yes, exactly. And, Alfonso, though, you have to give it up. He did beat Isaiah Velasquez, and that was his last big victory as well. And he was recently in the ring with at the Freelance Wrestling show at the Emporium. He defeated, I believe, Candy Elliott. So.
Yes.
That was a tough one. Hunk Kassady was actually in the corner of Candy Elliott, and he took out Laynie Luck with a solid punch. Yeah, that night.
Yeah, I didn't work that show, and I haven't brought it up on IWTV yet, but I will at some point. And but yeah, it's Alfonso. Again, it's going to be an uphill battle, but I'm really here for it.
Definitely. And then we had talked about Koda, Hernandez, and CHICO, and so yeah, you're right. There's 6 matches we have announced so far, and again, that Koda, Hernandez versus CHICO. If you had to pick one, would you go with Hernandez or CHICO?
Hernandez is too hot. I can't not go with the hottest guy in Chicago right now.
Yes.
Koda Hernandez.
For sure. And I'd really like to see Koda Hernandez even step out of the freelance ring. There's a lot of great contenders out there for the Legacy Championship. Like, you feel like they will defend that belt in another promotion besides freelance wrestling in the future?
You never know. Stranger things happen in this magical business of pro wrestling that we're in. And the thing for me is Koda, outside of freelance, tends to tag and not work as a singles worker. And I think he needs to push being a singles worker in other places as well, because I think that's where they're going to see what they need to do with him.
For sure. We've got another guy named Rafael Quintero, who has not yet been at freelance wrestling, and we would love to see, I don't know what your thoughts would be, to see Quintero and Hernandez one day.
I think Quintero is amazing. I think him and Koda are like on the same trajectory right now. They're kind of on that same path, and for them to square off at some point, I think would be, it would be good for business, and it'd be good for the fans.
Yes, for sure. And there's so many great promotions and out there as well. And do you have any other promotions you'd like to plug that you have work for coming up?
Certainly, yeah. I still work for Second Wrestling. I have not worked their past couple of shows, nor will I work any more shows for them this year, but I am still very tightly affiliated with Second Wrestling. We just couldn't make the dates work. Sure. So I'm not going to be there for a bit, but Second Wrestling, doing some great things, and they're doing something really cool that I just saw today. I think that before their next show, the Technicolor Dream Wars, they're having a wrestling card mini convention before the show. Come and trade and buy wrestling cards at the wrestling show, which I think is amazing.
For sure, man. Well, Kirby, the voice, Alexander, we love having you on the PWE Report. And let everybody know the details for the show. No Cuts, No Glory. This Saturday. Make sure to be there on August 23rd.
Yeah. And so I've got one other thing to say.
Sure.
I'd be remiss if I didn't also say that All-Star Wrestling is another company that I'm working for regularly, but I haven't gotten back to in a couple months again because of personal issues. But and I kind of also have to say this: all these shows that I couldn't do, someone has to do them, right? So Jason Midas stepping up at freelance so many times for me. Alex Storm stepping up and taking over my all-star bookings and now starting to get his own bookings with Eagle Pro. And now this new kid who just came out of nowhere, like, hey, I want to learn how to be a ring announcer. And Vito Tito, James Russo calls him Don Vito, and he's got like 3 or 4 shows under his belt right now, and
Okay.
he's actually going to share the ring with me. We're going to share the responsibilities for No Cuts, No Glory.
Oh, awesome.
And so I'm really happy to have these kids that I'm working with and teaching the business to. I'm very proud of all of them. And if I'm going to say I'm proud of people that I've worked with, I have to mention Val Capone as well. But I have a nice group of other ring announcers I've been able to pass wisdom on to throughout the years. But before we finish talking about No Cuts, No Glory, I'm actually going to give you a scoop that there's less than 10 people that know about this currently.
Okay.
And no fans know about it. The public does not know about it. But Henry, Hank, Magic Man, Jasper, people know him by different names. He's a photographer, videographer from Wisconsin. He's done a lot of work with Warrior, who I still work for Warrior as well. We got a show coming up in October in Milwaukee.
Right.
I'll be working that show as well. But so I've known Hank for a few years, and he reached out to me about 2 months ago that he was doing some work for some other film producers, and they challenged him, if you were going to do like a piece that really, really meant something to you, like a documentary that meant something to you, that you felt needed to be brought to the rest of the world. And he took on that challenge and said the only thing he could think of, the story that had to be told, was mine.
Oh, wow.
And so we started filming yesterday. Like I said, no one knows about this yet.
Sure.
And we just started filming yesterday, and it's basically my last 2 or 3 years that we talked about just now. It's the heart, it's the fire, and it's my relationship with pro wrestling, and it's going to be pretty cool. You're going to see me. You're going to see me be pretty vulnerable. I go back into the house where it happened, and I retell the story of how I had to get saved while I'm standing in a broken house that doesn't have walls and doesn't have ceilings. I get very emotional, and my wife, tells how hard it was. To be a single parent while I was in the hospital for 83 days. And so, you're going to see a lot of just us putting it out there. We're just letting everybody know what's going on. And it's going to have, he's going to be interviewing other people and, bringing those kind of people in. But filming with him yesterday and his buddy Mike as well. Man, Henry, Magic Man, as I like to call him, or Hank, is such a special dude. And I asked for permission about 20 minutes ago if I could let this out into the world, and he gave me the permission. And I'm like, I'm just going to spend the whole time putting you over, because when the movie comes out, people can care about me. But as I'm talking about the movie being made, I'm only doing what he tells me. You know what I mean? He's the director. He's the creator. He's he's absolutely phenomenal. The knowledge he has about film, the knowledge he has about the equipment that he's using, the story he's trying to tell, and the way he's trying to tell it. And stories are best when they have rises and falls, and all that he's building into it. Is amazing. And we don't know what's going to happen to this film. We know it's going to be made, and It could be a YouTube video. It could be shown in art houses. I don't know. And neither of us know, and we don't care. He wanted to tell the story, and I'm happy to have my story told. And whatever comes from it, we'll see.
Yeah.
But
No,
you
wow,
got the scoop just now.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. And I'm so glad to hear that. I can't wait to see that myself. I love those kind of documentaries and stuff behind the scenes, and kind of showing the personal life of the wrestlers and the people we enjoy seeing, entertainment and stuff like that. So I love
I
this.
appreciate that very much.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. But yeah, No Cuts, No Glory this Saturday night, August 23rd at Logan Square Auditorium. Tickets are on sale right now. FreelanceWrestling.com, is that right?
Yeah, I believe so. That's where I got it from. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. If not, go on the socials. You can find them on all the socials, and there'll be links. And pick up some tickets, man, and come out. And I'm not going to say pick up some tickets and support me monetarily, but again, just come out and have a good time with me, man, and celebrate the fact that I'm still alive, and celebrate the fact that my family is surviving this tragedy.
Definitely.
It's not that much about the money. The money will help, but the support and the love means so much more. And the fact that Isaiah's decided to call this show No Cuts, No Glory, obviously a pun, using the fact that I'm becoming a barber. And I tell you, I know nothing until they do it. I was sitting at work/school, and scrolling for a minute through Facebook because I didn't have a client, and I saw the show. I knew the benefit was coming, didn't know what it was going to be called, and I damn near cried on the floor. It's just it just hit me in that way. I'm like, the fact that they're doing the show, and then the fact that he ties it into my future, into what I'm becoming, and man, that hit different. I'll tell you that.
Oh wow, I can only imagine. And I love the whole design, the whole graphic.
Yes, it's got the barber poles.
Yes, it's fantastic. So I can't wait to hear you, of course, the voice, Kirby Alexander, this Saturday night, and everybody should be there at No Cuts, No Glory at Freelance Wrestling. We appreciate you taking the time, giving us your thoughts on these matches for the PWE Report. And these matches, I feel like, are a celebration of what you've, what's going on with you. So I love hearing your side of it as well. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on again. I love you, brother.
Anytime. Take care, brother. Be safe.